More pedestrianisation plans for the West End, traffic-free areas and more green spaces around Piccadilly Circus and Regent Street. Westminster Council wants to hear what people think about the pedestrians and the cars.
If you make it more difficult for them to travel through central London, they're not going to go a different way. It just takes them longer.
What these plans do is give us up to 6 football pitches more of public space right here in the West End.
Also on the programme tonight, images of Windrush pioneers are vandalised in Brixton. Those behind the open-air exhibition say they're devastated. We'll have the latest from Wimbledon, seeing how young London talents have fared today, and gold medal triathlete and Lewisham's own Alex Yee inspires 1,000 children to try and get active this summer. We speak to a prominent Lib Dem Assembly member about why she believes Islamophobia is now normalised and mainstream. And after 1,400 kilometres and a lot of cycling, it's the end of the road for the couple raising money in memory of their son and for the Evelina Children's Hospital that cared for him. First, it was Oxford Street. Now it looks like pedestrianisation may also be coming to Regent Street, or at least parts of it. Today, Westminster Council, along with the Crown Estates, launched what they're calling an engagement process about their plans to turn thousands of square metres of road into pedestrianised areas. Last month, the Mayor, Sir Sadiq Khan, pledged the Oxford Street proposals need to happen as quickly as possible, although some of those opposed still question where all the traffic will go. And there are similar questions about today's proposals. Lakshmi Gopal reports.
Changes are afoot in London's West End, with more pedestrian-friendly plans. And these are what the plans look like, making some areas traffic-free, others two-way traffic, and changing cycling routes.
So what would all that look like in reality? Let's get someone leading the project to talk and walk us through it.
So this is Regent Street, St James's, that runs down from Lillywhite to St James's Park. And we can make this space traffic-free, which creates a huge new public space in the middle of the West End. So here on Haymarket, we're going to make the traffic two-way in place of the current one-way system, and widen the pavements and put in more green in. So here on Regent Street proper, we're going to keep the wider pavements, we're going to put in cycle lanes, we're going to improve pedestrian crossings, and as a result, we're going to be able to take out the central median that we're walking on at the moment. So here at Piccadilly Circus, we can create much more space for people because we're changing the traffic flows in the area. For example, the cars here can go around the back of the Trocadero. What these plans do is give us up to 6 football pitches more of public space right here in the West End.
There are some people who are concerned about access for people with mobility issues, taxi drivers are unhappy.
So we're going to keep the traffic flowing throughout the West End. At the moment, as you can see behind me, Piccadilly Circus is not particularly well organised as a junction. So I think accessibility is going to be improved by our plans.
The chairman of the Soho Society worries about one impact of less road space, which he's seen on Regent Street since 2020, when a scheme, meant to be temporary, widened the pavements.
If you take out carriageways from Lower Regent Street, there is less room for the cars. Our experience is that the traffic in central London is not optional traffic. It's all construction, maintenance, service, public transport and emergency vehicles. If you make it more difficult for them to travel through central London, they're not going to go a different way. It just takes them longer, it goes slower, and it slows everything down and increases the pollution.
If you're thinking today's news about potential pedestrianisation sounds familiar, it's because the Mayor of London recently said plans would move forward to pedestrianise part of Oxford Street. The different sides say they're together on this and that the two proposals complement each other.
But some think they don't go far enough.
We're calling on the Mayor and Westminster City Council to make the whole of the West End low in traffic and people-friendly. Look at other cities, look at Paris. Give us an area-wise traffic circulation plan that deals with the whole West End.
You can go online to have your say on the plans until the 10th of August. Lakshmi Gopal, BBC London.
A Windrush exhibition in South London aimed at honouring the history, legacy and contributions of the Windrush generation has been vandalised. Portraits featured in the exhibition in Windrush Square in Brixton were damaged early this morning. One local community group said the vandalism had caused considerable distress. Wendy Hurrell has the story.
Daubed with paint, faces scratched. Every one of the portraits of the Windrush Untold Stories exhibition in Brixton's Windrush Square has been damaged. Its organiser was alerted earlier today.
I got a call roughly about 10 o'clock to say that it's been desecrated. And my heart just sank, thinking, why? I was so deflated and upset.
The exhibition has been running for a fortnight.
2 weeks ago, the community came out on Windrush Day to honour the legacy of the Windrush generation. There was hundreds and hundreds. There was storytelling, there was music, there was food, there was Caribbean culture, heritage, legacy. It was a proud moment. So this exhibition was the centrepiece that became the masterpiece. A groundbreaking, community-led exhibition has been the subject of a racist desecration.
Ros says despite the upset, she wants the community to stand strong.
I'm urging everyone to come together, stand in solidarity with us, with the Windrush generation, against hate, and to protect the heritage of Windrush generation, which is British history.
Well, the Met Police says that inquiries are ongoing. They were called at around 6 o'clock this morning to reports of vandalism here in Windrush Square. They're offering reassurances to the community that they say may feel distressed by this incident.
The BBC understands officers are keeping an open mind as to the motivations behind this incident, including whether mental health issues were a factor. Wendy Hurrell, BBC London.
Nearly 2 years ago, the controversial ultra-low emission zone was expanded to Kent and Surrey's borders. Those in favour of the charge say it's helped to improve air quality in London. But some traders remain angry, saying they're still losing money. The scheme requires drivers whose vehicles don't meet emission standards to pay £12.50 a day to enter any part of London. Figures seen by BBC London reveal more than 400,000 fines have been issued to those suspected of not paying the charge. Our reporter Harry Lowe has been hearing from people on both sides of the ULEZ debate.
It's become a battleground for drivers and campaigners. The ultra-low emission zone means older, more polluting vehicles must pay £12.50 to drive anywhere in Greater London. The Mayor of London expanded ULEZ nearly 2 years ago to include places like Bexley Village. But businesses here say efforts to cut pollution are cutting into their profits too.
We lost 30% of our clientele, we had to let some staff go.
Maria owns Malucci's and says her deli isn't the only place affected.
All the businesses in the area are suffering, every single one of them, and some are closing down because of it. Customers used to come regularly every single week, now come maybe once a year, once every 6 months. Coming into ULEZ zones becomes less and less attractive.
It's just another worry as a small business owner. There is so much to do if you have any business. It's just something else that you have to worry about. And we have certain customers who are elderly, who normally would drive to us every week, pop to the village, do their shopping, which now they can't do that because they can't afford to get a new car and they can't afford £12.50 every day to come and just get their shopping.
Campaigners say expansion was needed for better air quality.
The starting point from air pollution in that area in London was so incredibly high that even with this reduction, we are all still breathing air that is toxic, that stunts children's lungs, that causes asthma, that exacerbates asthma.
Since ULEZ was expanded in 2023, over 400,000 fines have been issued to drivers in Kent, Sussex and Surrey. More than a third of these have been paid and nearly 41,000 cancelled. The rest either haven't been paid or are still unresolved. London's mayor says nitrogen dioxide levels in outer London fell nearly 5% in the year after expansion. But for Maria, the future's bleak for Bexley's businesses.
If you're a customer coming from Dartford in Kent and you have the choice of coming to Bexley and spending £12.50 plus the car parking charges, which is nearly £15 to buy a cup of coffee, or you can go to Blue Water with free car parking and no ULEZ, what would you do?
Harry Lowe, BBC London.